It's the start of the season, boys, and look, I know, it's a Kessel jersey. I know, it's right there, but I gotta wear it. I gotta put it on because the season starts tonight. It does. Oh, I'm looking forward to this all summer. All summer I waited to watch opening night on television, and I have a hockey game I gotta go to in like half an hour, and I can't even watch the home opener, the season opener. Man, it sucks. But anyway, the Leafs are back. Hockey's back. Let's go. I have not featured the Leafs in my season preview in all the divisions I did. This jersey is usually hanging right there. The wall looks a little empty. Excuse me. Let's recap all the things the Leafs did this summer. Let's start off with the big one. First one, Mike Babcock. Mike Babcock signs a 50-year, holy crap, $50 million contract over 8 years. I remember I was at work, I was with my buddies helping renovate a home, and we were eating lunch, and I was checking Twitter every minute for the Bab Watch. Buffalo looks like he's going to get him. Buffalo might be out. San Jose, St. Louis, Toronto remain. Toronto's out. No Toronto's in. San Jose's out. St. Louis is out. It's down to San Jose, Toronto. San Jose might be out. Next thing you know, I get an alert on my phone. Mike Babcock agrees to become the next Leafs coach. What? This coach I see them talk about all the time. He's on the Detroit Red Wings bench. He's so good. He coached Team Canada the gold medal. He's ours. He's not everything. He's not going to win a cup like that. But it's Mike Babcock, and it gives the Leafs something to cheer about this summer. And who knows, that could be the big move they did this summer. Nope. Before we get to the other big moves, they did trade for Zach Hyman, who a lot of people seem to forget in all the big things that happened this summer. Zach Hyman is a very good young player. A very good young player, and the Leafs did one good thing this summer, is they took advantage of teams that were at a disadvantage. He was not going to resign with Florida. He's a great prospect. I don't think Florida wanted to give him up at all, and we got him for dirt cheap. I think it was Greg McKagan, I think a conditional 7th. And Zach Hyman, who's the runner-up for the Heisman Trophy, that means he would have won it if a man named Jack Eichel wasn't there. Jack Eichel was the only man in the way of Zach Hyman winning the Hobie Baker Trophy, I think it was. He's a good player. He looked very good in the preseason, and he didn't make the team because the Leafs are pressing patience and all this stuff. Him and Dylan Larkin are very good buddies. I don't think he's that much worse than Dylan Larkin. Maybe now he's not quite good, but I think one day they're going to be pretty even. I have really high hopes for Zach Hyman, and I'm excited to maybe go to a Marlies game this year and maybe see him. What happened after that? Oh, we went to the draft. I remember I had a draft party with my buddies. Drafted Mitch Marner, 4th overall. Small guy, high skilled, good pickup for the Maple Leafs. Travis Dermott with the 2nd round selection. Good defenseman. I saw him a couple games when I watched Erie play. Obviously, I was focused on McDavid. I didn't know that Dermott was exceptionally good, but I noticed him. He was very good at breakout passes. Speedy young guy, nice shot. And I think he'll be maybe not the future of the Leafs blue line. That's Morgan Riley, but he'll be a good part. And it's hot in this jersey. Jamie Bracco. Never heard of him, and we drafted him with our 3rd pick, and he was impressive to say the least. I'm sorry that this is tough. I'm focusing on a lot of things right now. I got to focus on the blue and white. After that, we traded for Martin Mansorin and gave up, who was it? Brad Ross? That's a massive steal. Brad Ross was going nowhere in any organization, and Matt and Martin, I hate pronouncing this guy's name. You know who. He's actually in the starting lineup tonight against the Habs in like half an hour. So that's awesome. But, then we go to July 1st, and we're going to start off with the less important part of July 1st. We signed Mark Arcabello. We signed Daniel Winnick back. We signed Matt Hunwick. And we signed P.A. Parento. Not good guys. We can trade at the deadline, but they're valuable NHL players. They're not horrible NHL players by any standards. But you gotta want to listen to that. July 1st was the day that Leafs traded Phil Kessel to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah, they did. My buddy Phil, he's gone. He's off to the promised land of Crosby and Malkin. In return, we got Nick Spaulding, who I kind of have always liked. Scott Harrington, who I heard a lot about for like a year, and then he kind of fell off the radar. who is playing tonight, actually. He sent down yesterday, playing today. I don't get it either. We got Kasperi Kapanen, who is phenomenal, who Dubas said would not have this trade even happen if Kapanen wasn't part of it. A first and a third, we did give back with Kessel, Tyler Biggs, Tim Erickson, and a second, Pittsburgh second, we got from the Daniel Winnick trade. So Daniel Winnick, we basically got him back. We traded him to Pittsburgh for nothing, but to help out with the Kessel trade. And Winnick's back, so it's awesome. Very smart management by the Maple Leafs right there. And I mean, Kasperi Kapanen is going to be a great play on this team one day. I think Scott Harrington's going to be a solid top 6, maybe top 4, but I'm thinking he's going to stay around top 6. Nick Spaulding was probably going to be good till about February, and then we'll trade him off. Maybe get a second, maybe get a prospect back. Kind of like a Mike Santorelli type of guy. What happened after the Kessel trade? I'm at my cottage. I woke up and my buddy texted me. I don't have Wi-Fi or internet at my cottage, right? But I do get a little bit of cell service. I don't want to use data though. I get my phone and I look, and you remember Lou Lamoriello from the New Jersey Devils? I'm like, yeah. Well, he's the new GM of the Maple Leafs. So I jump out of bed, I race up the hall in my cottage, and I go see my grandfather. I'm like, Grandpa, you know Lou Lamoriello? I'm like, yeah. Well, he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, he resigned this morning as the team president of the New Jersey Devils. And he's like, okay, that's cool. What's your point? He becomes the, I think it was like the 20-something GM in Maple Leafs history. Babcock, Lamoriello, this has to be like the greatest management shuffle up in history of the NHL. It has to be. You get the best coach in the NHL, and you could easily get the best GM in the NHL with the most experience, and he was the GM of the Devils for like 25 years. Perfect move. Perfect guys to find for the job, and they're going to be amazing. You could not rush Dubas into being the GM of the Maple Leafs. The guy's like 25. He might be a little bit older than that, but he's he's young. You can't expect a young guy to be so patient with an NHL franchise for so long. And last but not least, right before the preseason started, I think they got Michael Grabner for Taylor Beck, who they acquired for Jerry Devane. I think it was Devane. Minor trade. They got Beck, sent him to Islanders along with Carter Verhagen, Chris Gibson, Nielsen, some other guy. So many prospects I don't even know. We traded 5 guys for one. Grabner's fast. I don't even think he's playing that. I think Arcabella's taking his spot on the 4th line, like right wing. It's weird he's not playing actually, but maybe there's a trade in the works. No, stop. Anyway, that's basically the off season. It was a good Grabner trade, but that was the off season. I'm going to tell you what about the Leafs season right now. It's going to be a long season, boys. A long season. The Leafs, they're not going to win the cup. If they do, I'll give you all the change that I have in my pocket, which sadly I think is only I got like $1.50. I know you can't see it, but it's like $1.50. Not a lot. I'll give you all that if you win the cup, and I'll probably give you a hug because I'll be so happy. And then after that, I mean, the Leafs are going to have a long season, tough season. Kadri needs to break through. Riley needs to continue developing into the elite defenseman we know he can be. And after that, I mean, you need solid goaltending by Bernier and Reimer. And if you get all that, and if enough maybe plays 3/4 of how he could play in Calgary, we might dig out the bottom 5 in the league. I mean, you look at the elite Leaf team, there's no, there's no point in the Leaf team trying to win. The one thing that worries me is everybody's like, oh, Leafs never going to do good. They never, ever accomplish what they want to accomplish. Well, this is like the first time in a long time Leafs don't want to make the playoffs, I don't think. The management kind of doesn't. Babcock does, but I'm probably not going to. But for some reason, the Leafs never do what they want to do. They always want to make the playoffs. They never do. Now the one season where the management's like, okay, rebuild year. Maybe it's okay if we don't make the playoffs and we get a low draft pick. I bet you the hockey gods are going to hate us, and they're going to put us between 9th and 12th, which, as you know, is probably going to be like a pick between 6th and 12th in the draft, which Leafs should be getting a top 3 pick. They want a top 3 pick. but they want to try as hard as they can. Babcock's not going to try to lose games. He's not. I just have a feeling that the Leafs either got to be really bad or make the playoffs. Those are the only two scenarios that the season has. The playoffs, very unlikely. But I never, ever, ever count a team out. I don't count the Arizona Coyotes out this year. I don't count anybody out of the playoffs. I don't count the Carolina Hurricanes, the New Jersey Devils, no matter what any report says. I never count a team out of the playoffs until you see them on the ice. Every year a team surprises. I don't think anybody had the New York Islanders making the playoffs last year. They did get Leddy and Boychuk. But a team always surprises, and I never count a team out until it's month or two in the season. You say, okay, the Devils have won 3 games in 2 months. Odds are they aren't making the playoffs. You see, like those are the cases where ask me 2 months into the Leaf season, and if we're abysmal like everybody says we are, okay, I don't think we're going to make the playoffs. If we're solid and we're actually fighting for a playoff spot in December, don't give up. Go for it. It gives excitement to the Leaf Nation. They deserve it. Last year was so bad. Shanahan came in here and was like, we're going to stress patience, and we're going... I love Shanahan. My mom grew up on the same street as Shanahan. They're the same age. They used to play road hockey together. They're great friends. My grandfather used to be goalie for Brandon Shanahan when Brandon Shanahan played road hockey. Shanahan's awesome. But Shanahan came in here, and he's like, okay, we're going to be patient and see what we have this season. Ask any Leaf fan. They will tell you what you had. You had a scorer who didn't work hard enough. You had a center in Nazem Kadri who was underlining potential, who can't unleash it. Actually, overwhelming potential, I mean. I can't really release it. You have 2 goalies who some nights look like NHL starters and some nights don't. You have a captain who is way too overpaid and way too overplayed and takes way too much scrutiny in the city. A fan base who throws jerseys on the ice. Actually, I'll be admit, I didn't start till last season. And a fan base that is tired of losing. And you waited a whole nother season of crap to start this. That's what I don't agree with. Albert Einstein always said insane is not doing crazy stuff. Insane is doing the exact same thing again over and over and expecting the same result. The Leafs have had the same core for the past 4 years, and the same result has always happened. We got into the playoffs one season, a lockout shortened season. And I'm not gonna overwhelm you here, but if the season was 82 games, I wouldn't actually bet the Leafs would have made the playoffs. My opinion. I look like they were dwindling down near the end of at the end of the 48 game season. You can kind of see them having a lot more mistakes than they did the first 20 games. Anyway, that's my season preview. I reckon the Leafs will finish about 8th. I'm gonna say 8th in the division. I do have the Atlantic Division predictions. I didn't give last video in the Atlantic Division preview. Those predictions are Tampa Bay, Montreal, Ottawa, I'm going to say Florida, Boston, Detroit, Buffalo, and way down at the bottom of the screen because you can't even see it. More than you couldn't see Buffalo, other than Maple Leafs. Detroit's getting old. Boston had a bad offseason. Florida's kind of a cool dark horse type of team. Ottawa should have young guys. Montreal's really good, and Tampa Bay's freaking amazing. That is my Leafs season preview. Go Leafs, go! Season starts tonight. I hope you all watch it because I know I can't. I have a hockey game in an hour and a half. God damn it! Hope you guys like it. Hope you enjoyed the game tonight. I'll be PVRing it. Go Leafs, go! No matter what happens this season, continue cheering and don't throw your jersey on the ice. Hockey's back, boys.